Leave me alone! Leave me alone! Leave me alone!
That was when the bitter truth spilt. A close family friend who had studied in Canada with Chijioke came forward. He told them everything, how Chijioke had dropped out of school, how he joined bad gangs, how drugs had destroyed his future. Nana's world shattered. The man who had sold land, sold houses, and even borrowed money to train his investment abroad, now stood face to face with the ruins of his dreams. He clutched his chest, gasping for breath. His agbada tore as he fell to the ground. Papa! Papa! Voices cried out as neighbors rushed forward. He was carried to the hospital immediately. There, under the cold lights of the emergency ward, the doctor delivered a double blow. Sir, your father is battling high blood pressure and diabetes. He needs urgent care, or you will lose him. And in that moment of chaos, it was not Chijioke, the pride of the family, who rose to the occasion. It was Obinna. When the call reached him in Aba, he closed his shop without hesitation. With the little money he had saved, he hired a taxi, rushing to Enugu. In the hospital corridor, he ran, tears streaming down his face. Doctor, please save my father. Whatever it takes, I will pay. He held Nana's frail hands, the same hands that once pointed at him in anger. He whispered, choking on tears. Papa, don't die. You may have rejected me, but I will not reject you. Back at home, the mansion Nana had dreamed of was nowhere to be found. The cars he thought Chijioke would buy were still only fantasies. But in Aba, inside that small tailoring shop, a seed was already growing. Days turned into weeks, and Nana slowly regained his strength. But something had changed in him. For the first time in his life, he watched Obinna not as a failure, but as a son who loved him more than life itself. Every morning, Obinna arrived at the hospital early, before the nurses, before the visitors. He cleaned his father's room, massaged his legs, and fed him with the patience of a man who had nothing but love left in his heart. One afternoon, while Obinna was adjusting his father's pillow, Nana's eyes filled with tears. My son, why? He whispered weakly. Obinna froze. Papa, why what? Why are you the one doing all this? Why is Chijioke not here? Why, after everything I did to you? Obinna swallowed the pain like medicine. Papa, you are still my father. I cannot abandon you. Nana covered his face with shaking hands. For the first time, the proud man broke. Meanwhile, Chijioke was nowhere to be found. Rumors spread like wildfire. He's in Port Harcourt. No, he ran to Ghana. I heard he's hiding from the police. The truth arrived brutally on one rainy evening. A group of men stormed the compound, shouting Nana's name. Their leader held a red file in his hand and anger in his eyes. Where is Chijioke? He barked. Obinna stepped outside, blocking the doorway. Who are you? He demanded. We are the people your brother owes. He scammed us. He took money for a fake business deal and disappeared. If you don't produce him, we will take everything in this house. Nana heard the shouting and struggled to stand from his bed. My house, he cried. Take what? The men shoved Obinna aside and entered the house, pointing at the remaining furniture, the generator, the TV. This is our collateral. Obinna stepped forward again, trembling with anger. You will not touch anything here. The leader smirked. Then pay us. 22 million. The room went silent, breathless. 20, what? Nana whispered, his voice cracking. He collapsed onto a chair, hands shaking violently. Obinna closed his eyes. This was the same brother who had been celebrated as the savior. The same brother who had been given everything. Now, the family was about to lose the last thing they had. That night, Obinna looked at his father sleeping, weak and tired. He knew what he had to do, even if it would cost him everything. He picked up his small bag, emptied the cash he had saved for months, and whispered, For this family, I will fight. Before dawn, he traveled to Aba and sold his sewing machines. The only thing he owned. People asked him, Obinna, are you mad? That is your life. But he only smiled sadly. My family is drowning. If I keep my boat, what kind of man would I be? With the money he gathered, he returned to Enugu, ready to face the men again. When the debt collectors came back, Obinna stepped forward, holding an envelope. I don't have the full money, he said, voice steady. But this is all I have. Take it. And give me time to pay the rest. The men were shocked. You? Obinna? The tailor? You are paying for the great Chijioke, one of them mocked. Obinna didn't flinch. Yes. I am my father's son. Nana, watching from the doorway, broke into uncontrollable tears. My son, he kept repeating. God, forgive me. I rejected an angel. And in that moment, neighbors gathered, witnessing the transformation of a family once divided by pride. Nana was getting stronger, but something inside him had completely broken. Each day, he watched Obinna move around the hospital room, cleaning, feeding him, supporting him, and guilt ate him from the inside like fire. One afternoon, while Obinna was adjusting his pillow, Nana's lips trembled. My son, why? Obinna paused. Papa, why what? Why are you the one doing all this? Where is Chijioke? Why are you the one carrying this burden, after everything I did to you? Obinna inhaled slowly, swallowing the hurt. Papa, you are still my father. I cannot abandon you. Nana covered his face as tears slipped through his fingers. The proud man had finally bent. While this was happening, the whole town buzzed with rumors about Chijioke. Some said he was in Port Harcourt running from his past. Others swore he had escaped to Ghana. But the truth arrived loudly one rainy evening. The news of Obinna paying part of Chijioke's massive debt spread through the neighborhood like wildfire. Some praised him. Others whispered behind closed curtains. Imagine, the forgotten son is the one holding that family together. But 3 weeks later, a storm arrived, not from the sky, but from the past they thought was buried. It began with a knock on the gate at 1 a.m. A loud, desperate, pounding knock. Obinna jumped from his mattress on the floor, heart thundering. Nana woke up with fear wrapped around his voice. Obinna, who is that at this hour? The knocking grew violent. Open this gate. Open this gate now. Obinna walked toward the gate cautiously, torchlight shaking in his hand. He opened the gate halfway, and Chijioke stumbled in. But it was not the Canada-trained, brilliant Chijioke they had imagined would return. It was a broken shell of a man. His clothes were dirty, torn. His eyes were red, unfocused, moving rapidly like trapped birds. His lips trembled as he scratched his arms restlessly. He reeked of alcohol, sweat, street life, and the unmistakable scent of hard drugs. Obinna, he stuttered, swaying. Brother? I no get anywhere to go, they want to kill me. Before Obinna could react, Chijioke collapsed into his arms. Nana rushed forward with Ngozi behind him, both screaming. Chijioke. My son. What happened to you? But Chijioke only laughed, a wild, broken laugh filled with madness. Ngozi. Papa, I made it. Canada sweet, oh. See me. I be big boy. Then, without warning, he turned sharply, shouting at an empty corner of the compound. Tell them I don't have the money. Tell them. Stop following me. He covered his ears as if voices were screaming inside his skull. Ngozi fell to her knees, hands shaking. God. My son is losing his mind. Chijioke grabbed Obinna's shirt with trembling hands. They want to inject me. Obinna, don't let them inject me again. I'm not mad. I'm not mad. They are lying. His voice cracked into a sob. Nana stumbled backward, holding his chest. Is this what I sold my life for? Chijioke crawled on the ground, picking at imaginary objects. There are ants on my body. They are biting me. Get them off. He scratched until blood traced down his arms. Neighbors peeked from their windows, whispering. Ah. So this is the Canada son they called their pride. Ngozi covered her face in humiliation. Obinna knelt slowly, holding Chijioke's shaking shoulders. Chijioke, look at me. You're safe. But Chijioke couldn't stay still. He paced, muttered to invisible people, slapped himself repeatedly. Stop shouting in my head. Please stop. His breathing turned violent. His eyes rolled back. Nana screamed, Obinna. Call someone. Call anybody. My son is dying. Obinna lifted Chijioke into his arms as the young man convulsed. Papa, Ngozi, open the car door. Now. They rushed him to the emergency clinic. Doctors held him down as nurses injected sedatives. Ngozi cried uncontrollably, palms on her chest. My first son. My pride. My joy. What happened to you? When the doctor returned, his face carried only bad news. This young man is dangerously addicted to multiple hard drugs. He is experiencing severe withdrawal, hallucinations, and paranoia. He needs immediate admission into a rehabilitation center. Nana collapsed into the nearest chair. My God, what have I done? He looked at Obinna with eyes filled with decades of regret. Obinna, my son, forgive me. Please save your brother. Please. Obinna, heartbroken but determined, nodded. I will save him. Even if it costs me everything. As Chijioke screamed inside the ward, calling names, begging invisible enemies to stop chasing him, Obinna clenched his fists. The family had finally reached the turning point. And the son they once rejected was the only hope left to save them. Chijioke stayed in the emergency ward for 2 days, drifting in and out of reality. There were moments he screamed for help, moments he cried like a child, and moments he stared blankly at the ceiling as if watching ghosts dance above him. One evening, as Obinna sat beside him, holding his hand, Chijioke whispered weakly. Obinna, do you hate me? Obinna's heart cracked. No, Chijioke. I don't hate you. Even after everything? Obinna swallowed the pain. You are my brother. And I will not leave you in the dark. It was in that fragile moment Chijioke broke down, sobbing quietly. I don't want to die like this. Obinna squeezed his hand. You won't. Not while I still breathe. The next morning, he began the process of enrolling Chijioke into one of the best rehabilitation centers in the state. It was expensive, far beyond anything Obinna could comfortably afford, but he didn't care. He signed the papers, made the deposits, and stayed by his brother's side until the staff gently pulled him away. As the door closed behind Chijioke, Obinna leaned his head against the wall and wept silently. Meanwhile in Enugu, Nana and Ngozi couldn't sleep. Their home was quiet, too quiet. The house that once echoed with the pride of a Canada son, now felt like a graveyard of regrets. Nana sat alone in the sitting room at night, looking at the empty chairs and broken dreams. At times he whispered, God, forgive me. I pushed away the child you sent to save me. The weeks that followed were tough. Obinna traveled constantly between Aba, Enugu, and the rehab center. He slept in buses. He ate roadside food. He worked late into the night stitching clothes just to meet rent. But he never complained. Because the fire inside him burned brighter than pain. And soon, Aba began to notice him. His small tailoring business started attracting students. Young boys and girls admired his work ethics and talent. Customers loved his neat stitches, his punctuality, his kindness. One day, a popular fashion influencer from Lagos posted Obinna's design without tagging him. The internet exploded. Orders poured in from everywhere: Lagos, Ghana, London, America. Obinna almost fainted the first time someone said, "How much to ship your outfit to Dubai?" Before long, he expanded into a bigger shop. Then another. Then he rented a huge space and turned it into a fashion school. What should we call it? His first apprentice asked. Obinna looked at the walls, memories flashing before him. Pain, rejection, tears, struggle. He smiled softly. Cornerstone Fashion Academy. And just like that, the rejected stone began rising. Within 2 years, Obinna owned the biggest fashion school and design house in Aba. His clothes walked international runways. Celebrities wore his outfits. Students from different countries flew in to learn under him. The boy who once begged to learn tailoring had become a global brand. During this time, Chijioke was slowly healing. The rehab center monitored him closely. His madness reduced, his trembling stopped. He began learning skills, crafts, discipline, counseling, self-control. One day, during visiting hours, he hugged Obinna tightly. "Brother, you gave me another chance at life." "I didn't give you anything, Chijioke," Obinna said softly. "You fought for it." Months later, Chijioke was discharged. He had lost weight, his face was gentler, and his eyes clearer. But the shame remained. He stood in front of Nana and Ngozi, trembling. "I am sorry," he whispered. "I failed you." But Nana pulled him into a tight embrace and cried like a baby. "No, my son. I failed you. You only walked the road I pushed you into." That evening, Obinna drove them all to Aba. When Chijioke stepped into the massive building that said Cornerstone Fashion Academy,
his mouth fell open. "You did all this?" he asked, voice shaking. Obinna smiled. "Welcome to the family business." And that day, for the first time in years, the entire family ate together, laughing, healing, forgiving. Months passed. Chijioke became one of the top students in the academy. His design surprised even Obinna. Soon, he started managing one of the branches. His life, the one drugs almost destroyed, was reborn. As for Nana, he spent his old age inside a luxurious mansion Obinna built for him in Enugu. Whenever visitors came, he sat in his long flowing senator outfit and told his story. Love all your children equally. Support every child, not just a brilliant one. A child who fails in school may succeed in another path. I rejected my son Obinna, and yet he became the cornerstone of my family. He would pause, wipe his tears and smile. That boy saved us. My own miracle. And so, the family once broken became whole again. Through pain. Through grace. Through the son they once rejected.
This story is a reminder that a child's worth is not measured by report cards, certificates, or foreign degrees. Some destinies do not bloom in classrooms. They rise in workshops, marketplaces, creativity, discipline, and resilience. The son they mocked became the backbone they leaned on. Parents, love your children equally. Support their gifts, even when you don't understand them. Encourage their efforts, even when the world laughs at them. Because the same child you ignore today may be the one who saves you tomorrow. Never bury a child's future with harsh words. Never kill a dream because it doesn't look like yours. Every child carries a different seed, water all of them. This is the story of the rejected stone that became the cornerstone.